Let's dive into one of the biggest questions we can possibly ask. Where did everything come from? But today, we're going to look at it from a completely different angle. Not as a single event in the past, but as a constant unfolding reality that's happening right now.
You know, when we think about the origin of the universe, we usually frame it in a certain way. We ask how it was made, almost like it's a finished product that rolled off an assembly line.
But what if that's the wrong way to even ask the question? What if the universe isn't a product at all? What if it's something more like a presence, something that's just constantly and naturally manifesting?
Okay, so let's break this down. On the one hand, you have the idea of fabrication. This is probably what we're most familiar with. It's creation as a deliberate act by a separate maker. Think of a carpenter building a chair. It's planned, it's manufactured. But on the other hand, we've got this idea of unfolding. This isn't a planned act. It's a spontaneous overflow, an inevitable expression of something. It's not manufactured. It's just necessary. It has to be.
Now, to really get our heads around this unfolding idea, we have to introduce a core concept, Brahman. It's really important to understand that in this view, Brahman isn't a creator god who sits around and decides to make a world. No, Brahman is the very ground of being itself. It's the fundamental reality that everything else springs from.
So this is the big mental shift we have to make. The appearance of our world, of everything we see, isn't the result of a planned action. It's an emergence. It's a spontaneous overflow from that ground of being we just talked about.
Okay, I know that can sound pretty abstract. I mean, how does a whole universe just emerge? It's a fair question. And luckily, the source material for this gives us some really beautiful and powerful analogies to make this whole idea feel a lot more real.
So just picture an ocean. The ocean doesn't decide to make waves, right? It doesn't sit there and intend for a wave to pop up or command it into existence. Waves are just what an ocean does. They happen simply because of the nature of the ocean itself.
And this is how that analogy maps onto our big question. The ocean, well, that's Brahman, the single, underlying, fundamental reality. And the waves, that's the cosmos, all the individual things, forms, and appearances we see around us. They are all just the countless temporary expressions of that one single reality.
And this is the absolute key insight right here. A wave isn't some separate thing that the ocean made. A wave is the ocean, just taking on a temporary form. And in the very same way, the universe isn't a separate creation from Brahman. It's a manifestation of Brahman.
So if the ocean analogy shows us that everything is fundamentally connected, there's a second analogy that really drives home just how automatic and effortless this whole emergence thing is.
And this is just brilliantly simple. The original text uses the Sanskrit word deep for a lamp. Think about it. A lamp doesn't have to think about or decide to create light. The very second the lamp is, light, or prakash, just happens. It's an automatic, inevitable consequence of the lamp's existence.
So when you put those two ideas together, the ocean and the lamp, you get this really profound statement. The cosmos isn't something separate from its source. It is the fundamental reality, Brahman, just revealing itself. You could say the universe is the light that automatically, inevitably shines from the lamp of being.
So what's the big takeaway here? How does this idea change our whole worldview? Well, for starters, it means existence isn't some manufactured product, it's necessary. The universe is just an inevitable expression of its source. And all the rules we see, the laws of physics, they aren't imposed from the outside. They just follow naturally from the very character of that fundamental ground. Which means, to really understand the world, you have to look deeper.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought to chew on. In this view, the universe isn't some grand project that was planned and built. It's the unavoidable, luminous consequence of reality itself. It's not a product that needs explaining, but a presence that's here to be witnessed. So the next time you look up at the stars, maybe the question isn't, who made that? But what am I a part of?